Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. And right now, I'm pretty much doing a little bit more research, writing things down, and trying to figure out a few things. Hopefully, many of you have seen most of my videos. And hopefully, you know that I'm not really the type of guy that would just talk trash just to, for the sake of talking trash. I do want to make a point about things. I really do. And for those of you who don't know why I became an agnostic, because I already said before why I didn't believe in God anymore or Satan anymore, but I never gave a real true answer, a definite answer. I didn't want to get into it right away. And I guess now I can tell you because it doesn't really bother me to tell you. But I just hope that my answer will make you not only respect me a little bit more, or to at least to understand a little bit more, but to say to yourself, well, yeah, I can understand, but I guess I can understand why you became an agnostic, because it's not really the same thing as an atheist. The only thing that's actually similar about agnostics and atheists is they don't believe in God from the Bible's point of view. That's the only thing that they have that's exactly the same. That's it. The only difference is agnostics believe in the supernatural and the possibility of some higher power. Atheists don't believe in any possibility of any kind whatsoever. They're just all hardcore science. Now, even though I'm also into hardcore science myself, I'm not a scientist or educated in that, but I'm crazy about it. And as far as from all that, I also believe in paranormal science, the kind of things that those you see in those unsolved mysteries or whatever, sightings, a TV show for people who actually saw it. Sorry, forgive my little bit of speech impediment. Every now and then it comes and goes. Ever since that beating that I got when I got jumped by Latin Kings, which you already saw my video on it. Latin Kings almost killed me. That was the title of it, and every now and then my speech impediment comes and goes because of the brain damage that was done. Um. Anyways, what I was gonna say is the main reason why is because of a couple of things. One, when I was growing up as a Catholic, I believed in God because I was told that he exist. I didn't make that decision for myself. I didn't. That decision was made for me by my parents. And when I believed in it, because of that, I thought it was true. So that, to me, there's like a program kind of thing. When I was growing up, I became more of a liberal minded type person, even though I believed in God. And I was always about the what if. So what if, how come God doesn't do anything about this? How come he doesn't do anything about that? Well, it's because there's a Satan. Well, is Satan more powerful? And there's no, God is more powerful. And then he explained about the war in heaven and this and that. And I said, well, why didn't God kill the devil or banish him forever and take away all his powers or his ability to do damage? And well, yeah, he had him locked up or or however they said they was banished into hell, but to give him reign over earth, to allow him to entice people and this and that, just to test their just for God to test their faith, whether they're going to go to God Himself or to Satan. And I said to myself, that's that's kind of mean. And I was like 10, 11, 12 years old thinking that. I was 13 years old. That's kind of mean. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would a God who's all knowing and all powerful do something like that? Just banish him and keep him away from human contact. That's all you got to do. But to allow him to do whatever he wants. So I did more research and tried to find as much information as I can. I studied the occult, but then again, I was also into it too. I had a fascination with the occult, with reading about vampires, werewolves, scary stories to tell in the dark was one of my favorite books. One of my very favorite books. And growing up as a kid, and then everything from angels and demons and wizards and things like that. When I was getting into my teens, I was a real serious book nerd, and the only real physical activity I ever did was taekwondo in martial arts, which I was pretty good at. And I started to doubt a little by little, but it was a very slow process of doubting. I said, what if some of the stuff is not true? And then I started to hear about the Bible being tampered with, that it was rewritten, and that church officials that were in power had the power to change the Bible and put whatever they want to their advantage, and that caught my attention. That caught my attention big time. It really caught my attention, and then I said, what if? How come Jesus wasn't mentioned in those missing 18 years? How come he wasn't mentioned well, that was not important. And well, God has a plan for this. Well, God allowed Satan to whatever because he's merciful. Well, God did this, and I'm like, none of them. I was like, okay, I kind of bought into that, but then after a while of hearing that so many times, I started to doubt. And with all the terrible things that are happening, is I guess a lot of people are going to Satan. That's why things look so damn bad. And then I found out when I got into my late 20s and early 30s that wasn't the case. I started to look into Judaism. I started to stray away from Christianity, and I got into the Kabbalah. I wasn't into it, but just certain aspects of it. And then when I got more into the occult and more into the paranormal science, reading about um, power of the mind and this ESP and remote viewing and UFOs, aliens and stuff like that. And then Satanism, why it happens the way it does, and about ritual abuse. There was this nagging certainty that something wasn't told to us. A strong nagging certainty that was just bothering the heck out of me, and saying that there's something that's not being told to us. There's something that these church officials or the people in power having to do with the Bible and things like that are just holding out. What if the government knows about this, or this and that? And I would say, what if this? What if that? What if all this what if started to lead more into research and investigation, and then I finally found what I was looking for, and my suspicions were actually true. And then what really hammered it towards that direction, which I will never forget, and this is the third thing, or the second thing actually, as I should say, but I'm sorry, I mentioned about the science, and then I mentioned about the things when I was growing up. So this is the third. This is the part that hammered it away towards that direction, is to make me an agnostic. Yeah, I did suffer a tragic past. I was a victim of ritual abuse, and by certain family members, and I was hexed, and that's how I got into. That's how I became a victim of sleep paralysis. And these certain family members on my mother's side of the family that molested me and my brothers. At that time, my sister wasn't born yet. What they did was like the ultimate betrayal you could ever even you cannot even conceive. And it wasn't so much the abuse, even though it was horrific and it was humiliating. It was disgusting, and I could just tell that these people were just crazy. There was a bunch of other people involved, but I couldn't see them because they were wearing masks, different types of animal masks and cloaks and things like that. This is my family. This is like the dark side, dark secret of my family that I found out later on when I was growing up, and then my uncle, who didn't want to talk to us because he didn't want to put himself in danger, and most importantly us in danger. So he wrote letters to my mom, and then my mom would read them out loud to us. It says, "I'm not going to talk to you on the phone or in person unless if it's really absolutely necessary." So near the end of his life, he did, and I spoke to him on the phone 1 month before he was murdered. They said he died in a hospital and he was deteriorating, but I know he was murdered. He was visited by, which I believe to be, let's just say he was murdered. They wouldn't allow my mom to see him. Shortly after he died, he passed away. She almost got arrested because she was demanding to see her own brother. Hours passed. She didn't see him until a couple of days later, which was a big slap in the face to her. I appreciate the information that my uncle told me. He told me that the cult that certain family members on my mom's side of the family were worshiping, it wasn't Satan. It had nothing to do with the devil. And what he told me, what they were actually worshiping, it actually made my skin crawl. And he pretty much told me a lot about it. He told me about his secret, I guess they could say, because he was part of an experiment by the government. And this is like way before I was even born. So this is about his childhood when he was growing up. He told me about these weird places, also about where his father took him to, and it was really twisted and disturbing. He was terrified, but he managed to somehow keep his cool. And he was about 5 or 6 years old around that time. And he told me about a lot of the crooked stuff that were happening, and people that were in on it, people that had money. He actually was involved in a stag party, and he saw something that's extremely horrific. He was abused there and things like that. And after he died, I did some more research, and when I found out about what they were actually worshiping, I got the name down, and I found what I was looking for. Look, I don't want to offend anybody, but God doesn't exist from the Bible's point of view. And there was parts taken out of the Bible. The book of Enoch, which used to be part of the Bible, was the most important part, in my opinion, and that was purposely taken out. And it said, according to that, and according to other sources, there was very similar, told a very different story about the Lucifer rebellion, something they did not want us to know about. And God and Satan, angels and demons, was based on something that actually happened in the remote past. And also during the time when human civilization started. And what he told me was something that I don't even know if I should even tell you. But let me put it this way. You could call me like another Fox Mulder from the TV series X Files. You could call me that because I'm a lot. I admire that character like crazy, and what he knows. Yeah, but and I could actually relate to some of the pain he went through and who the perpetrators were. There's things out there that mean us to do us harm, and they're flesh and blood creatures, and they have the advanced technology to do whatever they want. Of course, they do have an Achilles heel. They do have a weakness. Um, to finish this up, because I don't want to spend too much time on this, but what I found out from my uncle and what I found out from uh, things that I finally found, and I kind of suspected that to begin with. It's like I kind of knew, and that's the reason why I became an agnostic. Just to let you know, this is the reason why. There's a couple of reasons like I already mentioned, but this is the main number one reason why. And not to offend anybody, and also the time when I mean, it's up to you. I don't want to tell anybody what to do, but the Holy Bible is evil and dangerous. There's nothing good about it, and because the real, actual Bible, the Hebrew, I'm sorry, the Aramaic, the original Bible is the one that's good. The original Aramaic, not the one that's been distorted and changed. The King James version that's all changed and purposely modified. That's why it's evil and dangerous. So when I tore the Bible pages in that video, the Holy Bible is evil and dangerous, I did that to make a point as a form of protest for that reason and that reason only. Um, so again, drop a comment. Let me know what you think, and just be honest with me on whatever. I ask questions if you want. It doesn't bother me. So again, to all of you, I care about you guys a lot. Anybody who went through the same bullshit I went through, take care.